app on a parent's phone or a tablet, or tried any kind of video game before on your computer or somebody else's? Okay, so everything that you interact with on a phone or a tablet, somebody has coded it and told it what to do. So if you click the right arrow, because you want your character to move right? You want your person you're playing a video game, you want them to move right. Somebody has coded that arrow and told it, when you click it, to move right. So coding is just a set of instructions that tells a computer what to do. And you use computers all the time, but in the back, somebody has told it everything that it is going to do. So there's lots of different languages you can use to talk to a computer. We are going to use block coding because it's a great one to get started with. But basically that's all it is. It's a set of instructions that tells a computer what to do. Computers are unbelievably fast. Whatever instructions you give them, they can do them at speeds we can't even imagine. But they don't do anything until we give them those instructions. So there's two parts when you're coding. There's two parts. One is what we see. So on a game, you see your characters and you see the stage. But then the second part is what all of those pieces do with the coding. So we're going to see both parts of those today, and we're going to use Scratch. So if you can go to your computer, the best way to learn to code is to actually code. So we're going to jump right in and try and make a first project. Make your own account. You're going to go to Join Scratch. It's going to ask for your username and password. You're going to use your school username right here. And then you're going to put your password in twice. They want you to put it in once, and then in the line below it, they want you to put it in a second time to confirm it. And then you're going to click Next, and you'll be asked several questions along the way.
I'm going to write it up here at uticumschools.org.
So the one thing that I wanted you to notice about Scratch is if I scroll down here, there are all sorts of projects here that you can already see that have already been made. Those have been made by students all around the world because Scratch is used by students all around the world, beginning coders, advanced coders. So whenever you have free time, not in class right now, but at home, Scratch is free. You can use Scratch anywhere you go. So you've made an account, but it's not an account just for you to use here. That is your account anywhere. You're at home, you're at a library, you're at a grandparent's house, anywhere. You can go into Scratch, log into your account, and all of the projects that you've made will be saved, and you can continue creating, and you can take a look and see what other students have created and get some great ideas about different things that you can do as well. When you are ready to code your own project, you can either click on Create or Start Creating. So go ahead and click on that now. Let me just walk you through what Scratch is all about. So I told you that Scratch is a coding platform, and it allows us to tell a computer, give it instructions in block coding. So every time you start a project in Scratch, it is always going to look this way. This is the default page. Here on the left are all of the different categories of blocks you can use. As I scroll down the categories, you can see the blocks change. These blocks each are a set of instructions. I will be pulling them out into my workspace right beside, like that. So this is my workspace, and the blocks will all snap together to form a set of instructions or an algorithm that's going to tell my character what to do on the stage. So this is the stage, this is my character, these are the instructions that tell it what to do. The Scratch Cat, that's their logo. You will always start with the Scratch Cat. So I'm going to show you how to get rid of the cat and bring in a different character of your own. But in Scratch, they call their characters sprites. So just like the soda Sprite. So if you hear the word sprite, it means the same thing as character. Oh, you're going to make a project like this, but this one is all about me. You're going to make one all about you, and as you do that, you're going to learn how to code your characters. So just like when you play a video game, I have a background, I have characters, and in the background, I have coded each of them to do something. So if I start my project, I click on my characters, and they each say something about me. I like playing ball, I have a dog, I like eating fruit. Mine's very boring, yours will be more interesting, but that is what we're going to make. You're going to make your own version and add a lot of different features to it. The first thing we want to do, though, is get rid of the cat so that you can get a character that you like. So if you take a look right here, there is a cat sitting right there, and above it, it has a little garbage can with an X in it. If you click the X, I now have no character on the screen. Okay? On the bottom right, there is a purple circle with the face of a cat in it, the white face of a cat in it. If I click that, I have a gallery of characters or sprites that you can choose from. You can filter according to different categories on the top, or you can just look through all of them and pick one that you like or that says something about you. All right, so on the bottom right, right beside where the circle was to pick your sprite, is another circle, and it's got kind of a landscape picture in it. Right down here, far bottom right. If I click that, I can now get a backdrop. Did you already get your backdrop? Yeah, some people. Okay, so I have one character and one backdrop. This is what somebody would see if they were looking at my project. Now we're going to code our first character to do something. And by the way, this is my sprite that I've selected right here. In a minute, we're going to add several more sprites to your backdrop. If you have selected a sprite that is quite large, you can size your sprites according to what you like. Right down, there's a little panel here, and it says size 100. 100 is its normal size. So if I wanted to make mine half of its size, what would I put in there?
50.
Right. So if you've chosen a sprite that's quite large, you could go in there and put 50 or 60 and bring it down to a normal size, or you could make it larger. You could do whatever you'd like, but I just wanted to let you know. So when you play games, you always have to have a way to start your game. Something has to start it and tell it to start going. Scratch has something similar. And all of the starting blocks that start your code are in the category called events. It's the fourth category down on the left. So if I count down 4, I come to the dark yellow category, the lighter yellow actually. It's called events. Now, if you look at the blocks that are in here, they look a little bit different than the other blocks. They kind of have a rounded top. And that's because they are a starter. You cannot connect a block to the top of them. So it's what I start with. In the project that I just showed you a minute ago, each of my characters said something when I clicked on them, right? That's how I started it. So if I take a look at the event category right now, which block, take a look at them. Which block do you think I would use to make that happen? Yes?
The red one?
Nope, that's when the green flag is clicked. Yeah?
When this sprite is clicked.
When this sprite is clicked. That's what triggered my last algorithm to start in the previous project that I just showed you. When this sprite is clicked. So if I drag this out, that is the starting It's a touch screen sometimes, but not always. That is what starts this algorithm. So when this sprite is clicked, something's going to happen. Now, in my project, I had my character say something about me. The say something block comes from the looks category. So if I click on the second category on the left, it's called looks. The very first block in there says, say hello for 2 seconds. Now, one of the key rules in coding is to always test your code as you go, in case there's a problem or an error or a bug in my code that I need to fix or debug. So this says when this sprite is clicked, it will say hello for 2 seconds. If I test it out, I click on my birthday cake, it said hello, it held the hello there for 2 seconds. But I don't want it to say hello, I want it to say something else. Wherever you see a white circle like this, right here, any of these, that means you can go in and edit or change that block. So I can click on the word hello, and I can type in something else. So go ahead and type in your own message in there for your first character. Whatever you'd like your first character or sprite to say. Backdrop sitting here, then you are coding your backdrop by accident. So you want to make sure that your character that you want to be coding is right there. So I click on my cake and I'm coding the cake. So just always check. If you're not finding the right blocks, you might be coding your backgrounds. So go ahead and write a message in. You can also go to motion and have it move or turn or go to a random position. So feel free to explore. If you would like to put your name or initials on the top of your project, you can go to choose a sprite, and the very last category says letters. I could go in and I could select the letters of my name and put it in there. Let me show you how to put it on the demonstration mode. So right here in the top right corner, there's a tiny box with 4 arrows in it. If you click on that, this is what the user will see. So if you were playing a game right now, this is what you would see. You now know that each of these pieces has been coded in the background to do different things, right? But when you play a game, this is all you see. And when someone sees your project, this is all they're going to see as well. But now you see the 2 sides of it. So if you can put yours on demonstration mode. But you can also take the pictures that they have and you can edit them in Scratch. So say you found a character and you don't like what they're wearing, you don't like the colors that are in the butterfly, you can click on costumes, and here's my birthday cake, and there's a lot of different things you can play around with here. So here's my color wheel right here. It's set at purple right now. I could move it over to green. Then I can take the paint can and I can click, whenever I click, changes to that green. So I can modify the sprites that are already there to something I like. Now, one of the buttons that's a lot of fun to use is the reshape button. You can click on the reshape button, and then when you tap on any part of the sprite, you get these little circles which you can then move around and reshape. So I can reshape and make the icing look a little bit different on the cake. So you can modify them. It's funner with the animals because you can take the dragon and make all sorts of different shapes and looks about the dragon if you wanted the spikes to be bigger or smaller or different size feet. So you can modify your sprites that way. If you didn't like what you just did here, you can undo it and go back to what you had before. But this is a great place to take a character and modify it. We've taken the cat before on a Halloween themed one and made the cat with red eyes and black fur. So you can do all sorts of different modifications to it. And then when you want to go back to coding it, you just return back and now you're in the coding mode. So you were in the design mode, now you're back into the coding mode. Another really popular block in looks is the change color block. If I go to looks, there is a change color block. Okay, so now when I click on it, it will say what it was going to say, and then it will change color. One really important block, and it is a coding principle actually, is in the control category. So right now, my code will do everything that I told it to do. So this algorithm says when the sprite is clicked, it will say something, and then it will change color. But I've told it to change color only once, and it's going to do exactly what I said. If I would like it to do something more than once, I would need to use a loop, L-O-O-P, so a loop. And what a loop is, they're all in the control category. It's a very different looking kind of block. They're right here. This is a repeat 10 loop, right here. And there is a forever loop. And what a loop does in coding is whatever blocks are inside it, they will repeat themselves. The action will repeat itself for the number of times that you've told it to do. So this repeat 10 means whatever blocks I put inside here will repeat their actions 10 times. This forever loop, what do you think that one's going to do then? Yeah, it's going to go forever. So if I were to take this change color block, put it inside the forever loop, and now I click on my birthday cake. Now I have a birthday cake that will forever keep changing colors while this project is being played. Had I put that block in here, it would have changed colors only 10 times and then it would have stopped. But I've put it in here. So a forever loop is something that you'll use a lot because instead of me saying change color, change color, change color, change, and listing 10 of them, I can use just one change color block, put it in a loop, and it will do the same thing as listing that change color block multiple times.